their new quarterback last week when they signed Case Keenum to a 2-year, $36 million deal. They were reportedly interested in Kirk Cousins, but Peter King reports John Elway in Denver did not make Cousins an offer because they were able to get Keenum for a lot less money. Case was introduced in Denver on Friday, and Elway said he's the quarterback they wanted all along. Let's take a listen.
We're real excited about the fact that the Case is here. He is, as we talked about after the season, that we needed to upgrade at that position, and we got our guy. We got the guy that was our target. You know, having gone through the whole process in the offseason and where we are till today, everything that we looked at, it all came out to Case.
We're joined by FS1 NFL analyst Eric Dickerson. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you. Good morning.
Do you believe Elway?
Well,
that's your classmate.
That is my
class
classmate.
of '83.
That is my classmate, the greatest class ever. First of all, you know, I believe this. I believe that was Gary Kubiak's call. Now, like, who is Gary Kubiak? Gary Kubiak is a guy that came out in the 1983 draft, just like I did, John Elway did. An 8th-round draft pick, played for the Broncos many years as a backup. Many people might not even know that. Won a Super Bowl in Denver. But I really believe that this was Kubiak's pick. I think that he wanted Case Keenum. I think that he's a better fit for that offense.
Coached him in Houston.
Yeah, coached him in Houston. Case Keenum is a guy that's kind of used to this, kind of bouncing around. He's, you know, in 7 seasons, he's been on four different teams. So not John Elway. I think John Elway was going along with it. I believe he believed it also, but I believe that Kubiak is the one who said, this is the guy we need. This is the guy that I feel like the Broncos don't have a great offensive line.
No.
So Kubiak is a guy, as you saw in the playoff game, playing the Rams, playing the NFC Championship game, that can extend the play. Cousins is not that guy.
Right.
You know, so he's more of a pocket quarterback.
Yep.
So I believe that right now, this is the guy that Kubiak wanted. I think he went to John and said, John, look, I know him. This is the guy that can run this offense and can help us win. Now, does Denver have that window for the Super Bowl? I think right now, I think that has kind of passed for them. I really do. I do believe. I think that if this would have happened a couple of years ago, you know, with that defense that they had, I believe that, you know, they would have been right in there. I think now, they're just kind of like, we're going to try to hold on and see what we got.
You going to let him get away with that?
Skip, I told you Kirk Cousins, Case Keenum makes this Bronco team a playoff team. Cousins makes Minnesota one of the 2 favorites in the NFC. Them and the Eagles.
Well, do you agree your window's closed in Denver?
For a Super Bowl, when you get to the playoffs, nobody's looking at them and says, okay, now the Broncos jumps in front of Pittsburgh. They jump in front of New England. No, Skip, nobody believes that. You don't even believe that. Skip, look, I get it. They said John did not bid on Cousins. True story. When I went looking for a house in Atlanta, Skip, my financial people gave me a budget. The lady took me to a house. I'm like, why you stop here? You know I can't bid on this. The house, you know, 20,000 square foot on 3 acres. Gave me a budget of $400,000. So why are we stopping here? Okay, you know what the budget is on Kirk Cousins. It's going to be somewhere between 28 and 30 million. You're going to have to guarantee. The Jets said, we'll give you a blank check. Minnesota says we'll guarantee the first 3 years of the contract. Okay, to top that, what does the Broncos have to come in at? We got to guarantee 4 years. Is that what you want to start? I mean, Minnesota's already started a very dangerous precedent. There are a lot of NFL players clapping, Skip, because they said, yeah, guaranteed money. No more roster bonus where you on the roster. No, got his guaranteed. Skip, for them, I believe they're more than one piece away. Minnesota saying we're Kirk Cousins away from getting to and winning the Super Bowl. The Broncos are saying we're Case Keenum away from getting to the playoffs, and then once we get to the playoffs, anything can happen. You try to get as much information as you possibly can. They do all their research on these guys. You know, we talked about last week that there was a private investigator that was tailing Baker Mayfield. So you try to find out as much information as you possibly can. Case Keenum's got a big old book. He's been the starter the last 3 years. 4,025 touchdowns. One of very few quarterbacks can say that. Case Keenum got 14 starts, Skip. Is that what you're looking at? So I get what John is saying. And plus, Case Keenum sitting right there what he's supposed to say. We wanted Kirk Cousins, but you had to settle for you. I mean, think about it, Skip. You Ernestine slapped the taste out your mouth. You're like, yeah, I wanted Miss America, but I had to. Yaga! No, I wanted Ernestine. This new lady, I wanted all along for the last 25 years.
She was my target all along.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying because Case Keenum's sitting right there at his elbow.
Yes.
I believe John Elway, and I believe that Case from the start was his target, and I think he was gloating about it. He wasn't trying to make Case Keenum feel better as they introduced him to the Denver media. I think John Elway, who has taken a beating over his draft picks of quarterbacks because they have not been very good.
Osweiler, Paxton Lynch.
Not very good. But Peyton Manning did knock on his door, and he said, thank you very much. We'll take you. And I think John has a better eye for guys who are playing in the league, that he can see their body of work in the league. And I agree with you. It's a good point about Kubiak because he's just saying, hey, I know him. Right. I know what he's made of. I know what he'll do for your huddle, for your locker room, because he's got a lot of fire to him. And he does make plays. I watched a bunch of their games. He made a bunch of plays with his legs. Right. I'm not saying he's going to gash you downfield. No. He just escapes. He's one of those guys who just has a knack, a savvy about making plays. And he's an accurate thrower. And he didn't have a good year. He had a great year for them. You look at those numbers, and I get it's a good football team, but I will bet you that Kirk Cousins will not have the year for the Vikings that Case Keenum had last year, because this was extraordinary. And I think Elway is laughing all the way to what's left in his bank, because a whole lot's left in his bank, because all he had to do was commit 15 guaranteed million to get a Case Keenum, who had the second best QBR in football last year. And I think he's sitting back laughing at the rest of the league, you know, trying to outbid each other. It came down to the two teams, obviously, for Kirk Cousins, who's 4 games under 500, is a 3-year starter for the Redskins, who went 1-6 against Dallas, who lost all 4 games at home to the Cowboys, and whose very team, the Redskins, could never commit to him. Right. And that guy just got 84 guaranteed down to the penny $1 million for 3 years, 28 a year.
But that's the thing, though, Skip. If you look at Minnesota, all their key players, especially on the defensive side, with the exception of Anthony Barr, is locked up. Yeah. Offensively, you look. That's a young football team. Diggs. Now
Diggs is not locked up. No, so those two are going to want their money. Diggs and Barr.
Coming up.
Yes.
But they signed Thielen. They got Rudolph. Dalvin Cook comes back. Offensive line is a little better than what Denver's is. So, Skip, they might not have the record that they have last year, but I believe there are a better football team with Cousins as opposed to Keenum. Because you got to realize now, that old guy up north from old Lambeau, he's back. You know what he does.
Hey, Kirk Cousins is going to learn all about him.
New Orleans.
By the way, Kirk Cousins got to see him up close and personal in the one playoff game Kirk Cousins played in at home against Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron was like having a down year and beat him handily.
And then Kirk brought him back up there the next year and put things on him. You saw what he did, 350. But that's the thing, though, Skip. New Orleans is not taking a step back. So I believe the teams, it's hard. It's going to be harder because these teams will be better in the NFC. And, you know, Case Keenum dealing with, you know.
Well, you know, one thing about Case Keenum, he's comfortable being uncomfortable, because you got to think about all the adversity he's went through. It was like when Sam Bradford was at Minnesota, and all of a sudden I think he said, "Oh, hey, y'all drafting a quarterback? No, at Philadelphia, I want to get out of here," you know. So I don't think you have – Case Keenum is a quarterback that's seen pretty much everything, a guy that pretty much – do you want him or not? I mean –
If you're a backup on Sam Bradford, you won't be starting.
You won't be starting.
At some point in time during that season, you will be starting. Because everybody know what Sam Bradford is.
Well, and it goes to show how mentally tough that Case Keenum is, because he's gone through it. I mean, at the Rams, golly, here's a guy that really, truly, that coached our backup quarterback, Jared Goff. They're still very good friends right now. So it shows, I think eventually the Broncos will draft a quarterback, maybe not this year. And I think if Case Keenum is there, he will be the guy that will help coach that young quarterback along. If that guy, let's just say, you know, in a perfect world, in our day, my day, you know, Paxton Lynch was a guy that would be a guy that could sit on the bench and still learn. Right. They would still have hope for him. Right. Now, in the days NFL, the quarterback, they're like, hey, You got to play right
You
now.
better get 2 years.
You got to play right now.
You got to play.
Look, John Elway made the steal of free agency. Sam Bradford got $20 million to go to Arizona. Just $20 million?
With that bum knee.
And he says it's okay. We'll see. But
he says it's okay right now.
I know, right? Wait
a second. That money plus is okay.
But to get Case Keenum for only $15 million that you have to guarantee him for this year.
Right.
You can't. You have an option for another year, but you're still sitting at 5. If you love Josh Allen, and he is definitely a project, you can draft Josh Allen, sit him on your bench.
I'm trying to figure out what do teams see in Sam Bradford, Skip? I know that. I mean, you watched him. He's Oklahoma. You watched him for 3 years. What is it, Skip? He's scary.
I said the same thing. How do you steal this money?
Stays hurt. He's a scarecrow in the pocket. You breathe on him, and he just goes down in the pocket.
But he's still throwing money.
You know what? He can throw darts. If you protect him, he'll throw darts.
But there are very few teams that got the Cowboys when they're fully healthy, or the Raiders when they're fully healthy offensive line that can protect you like that, Skip.
Can't be mad at him, though.
I can't be mad at him. I mean, he got one of the big, when the signing bonus was big, $50 million, guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, he was the reason why everybody he had more guaranteed money than Peyton and Tom Brady and all the other quarterbacks. And the owner we got to do something about this.
He's stealing. Can I steal like that?
Only Willie Sutton stole more, and they eventually caught him.
Well, Willie stealing how?
Eric, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
We have breaking news regarding the Cavs, and we'll discuss that.
Oh, man.
And I won't back down.